What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys have a fantastic day today. And today we have a very exciting release reaction for you guys. I really hope you guys are excited for today's video. And without any further delay, let's get started, everybody. So today we have a very exciting release reaction. It is a little bit smaller compared to last time, but usually, these release reactions have been pretty balanced for the most part. This one will be a little bit smaller, but that's okay, as it'll give us some time to really focus on what we're going to take a look at today. So hope you guys are excited for today's video. Without any further delay, let's get started. We have two emails here from Easy Toys. Thank you so much for the newsletters, as always the Easy Toys, excuse me. I believe one is fully skin tags and one should be some in-flight models. So very excited to take a look at this, and without any further delay, let's get started. So these skin tags are done by Fantasy Wings. Haven't seen them doing any skin tags, so this will be really cool to see what kind of skin tags we're gonna get here, and hopefully they do a good job on these. So let's take a look. Here we go. So we'll be starting with an original aircraft skin Singapore Boeing 747-400 9 Victor Sierra Mike November Megatop. That is really cool to get to see. Of course, now that we have Fantasy Wings making skin tags, we're going to be getting some various versions of these. Of course, there's been many different brands that have made these over the years, but now Fantasy Wings going to be taking their shot at it. And I think this will be really cool. They're only going to make 100 of these, so it's going to be very limited. So if you do want it, this is the time to get it, because it's going to be very challenging to get one after they sell out. So, but really excited to see that, and that should be fantastic. So hopefully that comes out really good there for the Singapore 747. And then next up we have another one. This time it's going to be the same one, but I'm Star Alliance livery. Is that the difference here? I think that's the difference, because this says 74 and it says that doesn't really matter, but they're both say 74, but the picture's the same. So I'm assuming that this one must be a Star Alliance livery. So that's so super cool. Hopefully it comes out like the actual Star Alliance portion. That's really nice. Now this picture does say it's 70, so I guess they bounce around a little bit, but that's certainly very cool to get to see, and hopefully that turns out good too. So very much looking forward to that, and that should be absolutely awesome by Fantasy Wings. Our next one here is going to be a Thai Boeing 747-400 Hotel Sierra Hotel Tango Charlie. This is a really cool to get to see, and as you can see right here, here's kind of what that looks like. And then they have this aircraft up here. This will be 150 pieces, so a little bit more common, but still though going to be pretty hard to find. So I'd recommend you get it if you do want it. This does look really good, excuse me. Really neat, kind of with the pictures they're selecting, everything quite different, but I think it's going to look really good, and I'm really eager to see what the actual skin tags end up looking like. So that's certainly going to be interesting, and hopefully comes out good. But how about this trio of Boeing 747 so far? This is awesome. And that's it right there. So yeah, really simple, but really cool to see Fantasy Wings now doing skin tags. I think these are going to be really cool. I'm sure the Singapores will be hits along with this Thai 747-400. So really looking forward to that, and that should be really awesome there for InFlight, or sorry, used to saying in-flight, Fantasy Wings. So good to hear from them, and that they're doing really good. And we do have some really big in-flight releases right here, especially for US retro collectors, as I already saw the titles, so sorry, not too much I could do about that. But yeah, let's take a look at this, as I believe we have a really good release in store after seeing those titles. So let's take a look and make it happen here. So here we go with the InFlight 1-200s for this round. I guess you'd call this the late February set, or whatever the proper term would be. So yeah, let's dive into it. We're going to start off here with a bang with the United Airlines Boeing 727-200 in the Battleship Gray livery, November 7260 uniform. This is a really nice duo between the Battleship Gray and the 727. It's a beautiful looking plane. Of course, the Battleship Gray livery encompasses a Battleship Gray type pattern. You can see the gray there on the fuselage with the aerial font. You also have the navy on the bottom right there in the red cheat line. And then until you kind of have a battleship design, of course, with the tulip. That was very common for many years. So that is really cool to get to see there from InFlight to do that. It's a really nice balance and blend. I think that'll be a very popular aircraft, especially among any retro collectors. So a really beautiful looking aircraft, to say the least. Our next release on deck is the United Airlines Airbus A319. This is also in the Battleship Gray livery, November 820 uniform alpha. So of course 727 was around through the Solbass area and saw the Solbass livery. To my knowledge, the only livery the A319 saw was the Battleship Gray, until obviously the blue tulip came around. I'm going to take an assumption that these got delivered probably sometime in the late 90s, because I remember seeing these on flight boards all the way back even as far as 1995, I think, and the Battleship Gray livery came out in 94. I think it was somewhere in between the 95 and the 98 range these got delivered. So I think that was about the time that United Airlines started flying the 319, even though the 320 was out for about 10 years by that point. So of course the 319 at that point was very ahead of its time, I would say, in multiple regards, and very fuel efficient compared to the now aging 727 during that time frame. So really cool to get to see that, and that was a really nice component right there for United. Two really nice planes right there for any United collector. That's a very exciting release. Our next aircraft is going to be kind of United related as well. TED, United Airlines Airbus A320-232, November 444 Uniform Alpha. Another really cool release. So TED was a low-cost carrier under pretty much the United umbrella, if that makes sense. Very similar here to what the Tulip was, outside of this being actually gold here for the Tulip. You also had gold right here, and then you had some darker blue to go here with the engine, and then TED. They made it really simple, so they ended up transferring a few of their Airbus A320s over, and their intention with TED was to mainly on competition routes, with Southwest developing their Denver hub. You also had Frontier really emerging as well. Kind of throughout the mid 2000s, the intention of Song and TED, or Song was the Delta Airlines umbrella brand for low-cost carriers. United and Delta, with those two brands, made a shot to try to compete against them. Both of them ended up not working out, and they transferred all of them back over to the mainline brand, because obviously you can't make as much money in that model, and really hard to get established, especially like I said, you had Southwest really expanding, Frontier was doing good, so all up until 2009 recession, which kind of killed it all, 2008 2009 era. So yeah, that was one of the many airlines that kind of had that little era there, and it's cool to see that InFlight's going to be representing it here with this 1/200 scale Airbus A320. Very cool model. Also hints the UA prefix here in the tail. This aircraft should still be flying with United today. Next up, we have an Amiri Worldwide McDonnell Douglas DC-873, November 7292 Foxtrot Tango. This is a good looking aircraft. I like the green and the red here. Makes it a nice simple livery. Also got billboard titles and tail titles, which is very cool. I'm assuming that this must be some sort of freighter from the US, probably in like the 80s or 90s, somewhere in there. Really don't have much of an idea on that, but it is cool to see that they are operating DC-8s. Most airlines operated DC-8 cargo aircraft really up until about the early 2010s is when I think they all fizzled out. I think the last ones really there that were rocking were UPS, ATI, and DHL were really the last three, and then they all started to fizzle out. Pretty much DC-8s and 727s went at the same time for those, and then FedEx operated their 727s. Probably up to like 2013 or so. It was quite a while, so that was really cool. So yeah, but certainly interesting and awesome to get to see this DC-873. So quite a few US retro releases to get us kicked off here. We're going to be continuing that with this Continental Airlines Boeing 747-243 Bravo, November 605 Papa Echo with the red contrails / meatball livery. So certainly cool to get to see this. This was the later iteration as black contrails, which everything here, the cheat line, and this was black. That was the main difference. That got kicked off for Continental with that livery, and then they changed it over to the red, and then they had their final Continental Globe livery is what United ended up translating into United, but the Globe livery was their final livery until, of course, they merged with United in 2012. So this is another really cool aircraft. Continental had a variety of 747s to my knowledge, and it's very cool to see that InFlight's going to be representing this 747-200. So that's really cool to see, and yeah, what a heavy US release. Plenty of variety here for anybody looking for it. This time we're going to be getting an international aircraft though in the retro department, a really good one at that. This is the Air New Zealand Boeing 747-441 Zulu Kilo Sierra Uniform India. This is a really cool livery, Air New Zealand, kind of like Singapore Airlines and a couple other Thai Airways. There's been several airlines that have not changed their liveries much over the years, Singapore, Lufthansa, all those. Now Air New Zealand's another one that hasn't changed it a bunch, or at least they've stayed with the same big picture idea, and then have just added particular details over the years. They had this really cool turquoise color here on the top for the cheat line, then a navy, then your gray underbelly. Pretty typical for the time. What's not very typical is the Air New Zealand titles being so far aft of the cockpit-ish. Usually the billboard titles on most aircraft like this, I guess Continental kind of did it too, but it was closer to the front here, so pretty interesting, especially this late in the process for them to have that far back. But I think it looks really good on this aircraft, and this will certainly be a popular one for InFlight when it does come in, that is. All right, here we go with a very interesting aircraft. This is going to be a Qatar Airways Boeing 727-2 Mike 7. This is a very interesting aircraft. Alpha 7 Alpha Bravo Charlie. So Qatar's livery also hasn't changed much, and here's another really good example of that. I did not know that Qatar had 727s, but I guess they did, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, the antelope really transpired in a very simple livery here, to say the least, but it certainly gets the job done. This is a good looking aircraft, and I think they did a really good job on it, so I'm certainly glad to see that this aircraft turned out well for InFlight, and hopefully the actual model itself is going to be looking good. So that's a cool looking plane and a very unique one to keep making us some international aircraft here. I have a feeling we're going to get some from Europe next. Let's see. No, we're going to get South America instead. This is a good choice. This is a Varig Boeing 30 Charlie, Papa Victor Lima Victor. Very cool aircraft right here. I like the variety choice. 727-30 Charlie is not an aircraft I'm too familiar with. This looks like some sort of cargo variant of the 727-100. This is a good looking aircraft. I'm sure it's going to be a very popular one. Can't see what this title says, but certainly looks nice. So this is cool. I also like the compass on the tail. That's also a really nice attribute of this color scheme. So yeah, this should be a popular aircraft, especially for anybody looking for a bigger Varig 727 variant. A bigger scale, to clarify, not a bigger actual aircraft, because it's not. And now we have an ITA Airbus A330-200, but I have a feeling this is the one I saw in Miami. This is Echo India Echo Golf Juliet Golf, excuse me. I have a feeling this is the one, and if it is, I might have to splurge and buy this. Let me pull this up right now. Let me pull it. I'm pulling it up right now as we speak. Let me find it, because I have a feeling this is the one I saw in Miami on a beautiful winter day about 2 months ago at this point. If I can find the picture, that would be wonderful. I'm looking. I can pull it up on my desktop if I have to, but I have a feeling that sounds very familiar. And the only reason it would is because I said it that many times. Let me take a look and see if I can find this photo, because I know I edited it. Oh, maybe it's counting by the date. That might be right. Why? Okay. Sorry guys. I have to know. Once I say something, I pretty much have to know. Should have known better, but hey, it's all good. Let's see. This is it. Moment of truth. The answer is yes, it was. How much is it? Pull it up right now. I usually would not. 163. Oh boy. I'm very tempted to buy this. I really am. I really wanted to get like that American A321neo I saw from InFlight, and the 319 was really cool, but this was a very special plane because that was my very first time seeing an ITA Airways aircraft, and complimenting that. It's a beautiful livery. It really took me by surprise when it was on short final. Here's the full picture, by the way, at Miami International Airport. Really, really beautiful plane. I'm sorry for my light reflection, but a really beautiful plane. I'm very tempted to get that. That is something that I would really like to get. It's very expensive, but it would look super good, and it's one of my favorite liveries, and it would be a very diverse asset to my 1-200 collection, because I don't have an international heavy yet. I don't have an international airline that's not from the US either, so this is definitely going to be a consideration of mine. It's really crazy that it's the exact same tail number, because they don't have many of them. So great choice by InFlight200, and I'll be excited to see. Let me look at the ETA, like probably like June or something, maybe even longer than that. June 30th, yeah, so that would be here during the summer if I do choose to get that. So I'm certainly leaning towards possibly getting that. Let me know what you guys think, but that is certainly something I am definitely considering. And let me get my computer plugged in here, because it's going to die if I don't. That's a stunning plane, man. That's super cool to see. All right, now we have the Qantas Airbus A330-203. This is going to be Victor Hotel Echo Bravo Lima in the Pride is in the Air livery. So really good to get to see this done. I think that's really cool to see all these various aircraft manufacturers going after these unique purposes. So that's certainly very cool to see. And yeah, this is a really good looking aircraft. Qantas has several A330s in their fleet, and I think this is another really good example of that. So certainly nice to get to see that, and hopefully it turns out to be a cool aircraft. So that should be a really good one right there. And now we have an Airtiti Nui Airbus A340-200 211. This is Foxtrot Oscar India Tango November, and this is going to be another really cool looking aircraft. Of course, many people probably remember the 300, but Airtiti Nui did have several of the 200s as well. So this should be another really cool aircraft right there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what that's all about. So hopefully this turns out to be a good aircraft, and I'm eager to see what it's all about. And that's it for the in-flight releases, guys. So yeah, obviously a very good set when it comes to these two particularly, but yeah, for me personally, usually it wouldn't be like this, but this is a very special aircraft right here in the ITA Airbus A330-200. And I'm going to make sure that's the right tail number, make sure that I'm not missing it or anything. Echo India Echo Juliet Golf. It's the same one. Same one at Miami International Airport, and that was a stunning day. So I certainly am going to be considering this, even though it's $163. I'm sure the E330 mold for in-flight is worth that. That is a really cool looking aircraft, and I would really enjoy having that in my collection to represent an amazing moment that was in one of my favorite spotting sessions. one of my favorite spotting sessions ever, excuse me, at Miami International Airport. But we shall see how that story plays out, but definitely go get after those if you guys are looking for any. That's a really good set, and what a great release there in general. A bunch of really cool planes. I think they hit it out of the park with this release. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section if you guys have any ideas for which ones you guys like to see InFlight do in the future. But with all that being said, that'll do for today's video, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe, trust the process, do what you love, and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.